Greetings, football lovers. Greetings, Masanawana. Greetings to the Yellow Nation as well as the Yellow World, the supporters of BVB Borussia Dortmund. Welcome to another installment of the Yellow Corner. The Yellow Corner, for those who are watching for the first time, is the YouTube channel for Sundown supporters by Sundown supporters, where we preview all Mamelodi Sundowns Football Club matches. And we are bringing you the preview of our big game in the FIFA Club World Cup, the second game of our group stages in Group F, as we'll be taking on Germany's Borussia Dortmund on Saturday afternoon or evening in South Africa at 6 o'clock South African time at the TQL Stadium in Cincinnati. Alongside me is the jersey number 12 of the Yellow Corner, Rapelani Motong. I'm introducing you the way they introduce the lineups at the FIFA Club World Cup. How's it, Rap?
Yeah, no, I'm well, I'm good, man. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm doing well, and you?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good. We woke up in the early hours of Wednesday midnight to watch our first game against Ulsan, and unfortunately, the game was delayed for over an hour. But hey, winning that game, man, made up for all that time wasted. Speaking of that very game, man, your thoughts on that our first game and that win ups?
I think it was a great win, man. I think we deserve to win. And we spoke about how important it is to win your first game. So at least we managed to cross that bridge whereby we won our first game and we collected maximum points. And also, we kept the clean sheet. And in terms of the performance, I think we played very well. Ronan was good at the back, and our defense as well with the ball, and we fought the ball. They were pretty decent, man, and they did their primary job very well. And also, let Tibbs, he played a huge role in the middle field, man. He was good, Tibbs. When we had the ball, he was present. We fought the ball. He tried to press the opponent, same as Allende, man. So I think it was a good overall performance. But my disappointment is that we created so many chances, like so many chances, and we failed to convert half of those clear cut chances, man. We should have won this game by easily plus 4 goals, man. Like we dominated, we played very well, and individually and collectively as a team, I think it was a great a performance. And also the coach, man. I think we also need to give credit to the coach, man. The starting lineup, I think it was a good lineup according to me. Like I loved that lineup, and also the subs that he made during the second half. The players that came on also had a positive contribution. The likes of the middle fielder, Batuso Ubas, he helped Tebza on the middle field because of towards the later stages of the game. It looks like Tebza was getting a little bit tired. So the energy that Ubas gave us on the middle field, I think it was needed. And also Mutiba, when we played those long balls, he won so many aerial balls. Unfortunately, we could not compete and win the second ball. So I think the second balls. So I think it was a great performance from the guys, man.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I fully agree. Even though my gripe with Batus will always be how he turns over possession. Man, did you
Yeah.
see that child? Was it Eric Farias who almost took, but Cupido got to the ball first. But you understand the thinking behind the substitutions to lock up, with Batusi and to go maybe with one with Lebs that roll up play and stretch the defense, play the ball wide and go inside the box. I was very pleased, to be honest, with that performance. I think we played the Sundowns way. We played Shushan and Piano. I think we got what we asked for from our preview. That game, and I think the shackles were taken off our feet, and we danced, man. And I was really happy with that performance. I thought Divine was absolutely divine at left back. Yes, gave away possession twice, I think, but overall he had an absolutely amazing game. I was honestly shocked by Keanu Cupido and how well he played having not played for such a long time, but Kiana on the ball, you can always trust him, man, like a proper ball playing center back, but he also did his primary job defensively, so did Grant, and obviously Mudau, and everyone, but watching Shika play, I remember me and you exchanging text at halftime and saying, yeah, man, yeah, and we were like, what? This is a bittersweet. We are happy that our team is playing so well, but the sweet part, the bitter part of it is that we're thinking if only Shika had played the CAF Champions League final. We're not saying we would have definitely won, but we would have stood a better chance of winning if we're being honest. The only player that I was really disappointed with was Sales, but we'll get to that. And later, Ribeiro and Reyners were just magnificent, man. So, the positive, one of the things that my good friend Mahir Mazai from Africa is a Sport, I'm sure everyone who watches African football knows his YouTube channel. One thing that he was lamenting throughout the CAF Champions League is that Sundowns is not creating and scoring in the CAF Champions League, and for the squad that we had, he was absolutely spot on. But in this game, we created so many chances. It's disappointing that we didn't score. That's the disappointing part. But the positive is that we created so many chances, and it can only get better from here on. But yeah, no, big ups to the boys and the technical team. Job well done, Bafetwe. Really appreciate it, man. Rams, what is this FIFA Club World Cup going to do for Mamelodi Sundowns Football Club? Because I think, well, apart from the obvious financial benefits that come with it, it will put brand Mamelodi Sundowns out there, like brand visibility at Sundowns is gonna be so high, more so after that first game, like everyone's eyes are going to be looking at this club that wears the same kit as the Brazilian national team, and some said, please, even better than the Brazilian national team or teams from Brazil, Ribeiro posted a video of his, I'm not going to say village because I don't know how big the area he comes from is, and everyone watching that game, and it was packed, and a lot of people celebrating, people send me the screenshots, that tweets from people from all over the world who are so impressed with Sundowns. So I think brand visibility is going to be, it's going to go to another level, and then it will build and grow international relations with these top clubs all over the world. Like when you ask for friendlies from teams, these big teams, having seen us, it will be easy for them to say, yes, we will play you guys because we'll get a challenge. But at the same time, it will also, it is also going to get us a very, it will be more, be more attractive to top quality from across the world. Yes, financially, Sundowns, we can stand our ground against some countries, maybe Scandinavian countries, when it comes to salaries, because trust me, Sundowns pays really, really well, So, but it won't be just, players won't be thinking, okay, financial security, I'm good. They know that I'm going to play for a team that will challenge for the league, that will be there in their Champions League, that will most probably be there again in the next Club World Cup in 4 years' time. So I think this tournament is going to do so much for Mamelodi Sundowns as a club, Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think that's you're correct, man. I think it will help us to grow the brand, and also we'll be able to be known at the international level, man. So, and also it comes with participating at the CAF Champions League more frequently, man. Now at Africa we are known, so now we are at the international stage. So I think we need to create a name for ourselves. Obviously, you're not at the same level as the likes of Man City, Dortmund, Real Madrid, but for us to participate in this tournament, I think it is very, very huge. the players, the supporters, and the whole team, they should not take this Club World Cup participation very light, man. It doesn't happen more often, man. Because the last time we were here, it was 9 years back. So it shows it doesn't happen more often. So we need to embrace this opportunity for of us playing in this youth tournament. And speaking about growing the brand, man, it started with the Jesus, where we spoke about the collaboration with Kid Super as well as a Puma, man. So I think it is slowly helping us to be out there on the international sport. So I think I'm very impressed with how this team of us it is going to be known all over the world. So it is a nice experience for us supporters and for the team as well. And we spoke about the support that we got from all over the world. When you look at the videos that were posted on X, man, it was people all over the world supporting Mamelodi Sundowns, and even the other people on X. They were very impressed with the style of play. So I think the style of play and the brand, I think it will grow even more further, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. And final part, on the playing side, the experience that our boys will gain from this tournament, man, it's something that money can't buy. To be honest, you mentioned supporters, and I should have started with this. Taking my hat off to the supporters who travel to the USA, man, and you look at the rand dollar exchange, man. It is expensive. Spending their hard-earned money, the likes of Josie, man, like big ups to those guys, I only know Josie from the people who travel to the US, but there are a few guys who travel there. Maybe others are still going to travel for our game against Dortmund, man. The atmosphere when the game was delayed, man, the videos that we saw, man, and Josie was at the center of it, like big ups to them. What they're doing for the club. We'd all love to be there to support the club, but unfortunately we can't. But them being there, they are representing the rest of us, and I must say they are doing an amazing, amazing job. Perhaps I spoke about Sales earlier on about not being impressed with him, and uh, just to be fair to the guy, that's not his natural position. I've said this from the very first moment we signed this guy. I went to YouTube and I watched a lot of videos and I studied him. And I said, this guy is not a center forward. He plays where Ribeiro plays. He's a right forward who likes to come inside, and he obviously that's Ribeiro's position currently in the team. So he plays when he play as a center forward or maybe a 10 or on the left. Do we have a problem or an issue at left forward at Sundowns, and how do we fix this issue? Because you look at Matthews, Matthews' stats were brilliant and pre that injury, but he hasn't been the same since that injury. You look at Kobamelo Kodisang, there really hasn't been anything to write home about his Kodisang, if we've been honest. I think he will leave, at the end of the season, as well as what I've just said about Salas not being a left foot. Do we have an issue there, and how do we fix it?
I think first of all, yes, we expected much from Salas because of his numbers last the season that we just came from. He did very well. He scored a lot of goals. He had a positive impact whenever he was on the pitch. So I think because of he was so good, we expected him to maintain that standard, man. And also, it is just a one bad game, man. It doesn't make him a bad player. Yes, he wasn't that good. He missed a clear chance in the first half where he should have scored, and he lost the balls in some zones whereby we should have created something, man. But for me, him not performing well, it doesn't make him a bad player, man. Like we know his value and what he does for the team. And speaking about this issue of the left forward, man, yes, Matthews has done very well, Elena. Like he joined us. He scored a lot of goals. His numbers were good. But you spoke about the injuries as well. I think the injuries made his performance to drop a little bit, man. And in terms of Kodisa, man, zero impact, man. He didn't do anything for the team. Like we are saying, you'd expect him. We won't be shocked if the team release him because of the impact that he failed to do for the team. But for now, I think yes, we do need a, a, a left forward who's right footed, will also be able to do what he will be able to give us what we get from the right forward like Ribeiro. Yes, you don't want to sign someone as Ribeiro, but at least someone who will give us something on the left forward, man.
Who is that someone? Do we go crazy in the market? You look at what Al Ahly is doing. Al Ahly is serious. They mean business. They signed Trezeguet. He was he played left forward. Unfortunately, missed a penalty. They signed him during the recent transfer window. He used to play for Aston Villa. They signed Ben Chaki ka January. So Al Ahly means business. If we are to compete with Ali for the Champions League and we seriously want the Champions League, who do we then sign and plug in there left forward?
Whew. Globally, like going outside our country, and in fact, in our country, I don't know who we can get, but I would say something like what I saw from Lodge against Man City, man. I like he was watching on water, man. So him performing very well against Man City, man. I had that thought there already. I wish Nyoso what that performance that he displayed against Man City. I wish to it came really for Sundowns, man. So for me locally, I don't know, but from what I've observed against Man City and with that, man, I think Lodge, man. I think Lodge.
Yeah, and then for BVP fans who might possibly watching this, man, Tashrik Matthews actually came through your ranks. He used to play for your club. I'll put up a picture of him here, and maybe some of you will remember him. But going back to this topic, we certainly do have an issue at left forward. You know, we don't have the consistency that we have on the right with Ribeiro. You know, and when I look at Tesh, stats they proper back him. I mean, last season he played 21 league games, you know, and he gave us a GA of 11, which is really, really good if we be honest, you know. But you take away those stats and then you look at, you use the eye test, he doesn't give us that much, you know. Like with Tesh, you always think, and there's just something missing, and like, you know, there's just something missing, you know, and stats are very important. I'm not saying stats are not important, but when you look at on the opposite side where we have Ribeiro, it's not just only stats; it's the eye test as well. How he affects the game, how at times they double up on him, and then it frees up space elsewhere. You know, with on the right, we can't really do that, and with Tesh, you know. There's a boy, man, that I thought of, a boy that we already have at Sundowns, Siyabonga Mabena. Unfortunately, he suffered a long-term injury early in the season, you know. I think Sia next season needs to compete and take his game up a notch. That boy is very, very talented, no doubt about it. You know, like everyone knows how talented that boy is. Is it the youngest player to make his debut for Sundowns? I could be wrong, but yeah, man. I think next season Sia needs to put up his hand and fight for that left forward spot. Odisang, I don't think he will be with us next season. And like I said, Salas is for me he's more of a right-footed right forward coming inside. But do we go out and get someone? I thought of someone. I thought of someone who was developed at the club, knows the culture of the club, And our greatest coach of all time said at that time he's one of the best finishers in the box. He's very calm in the box. Keletso Magalo. Keletso stats, they are there. Impact throughout the game, even without stats, it is there. Do we then go to Sekhukhune and say, hey, we want our kid back? I honestly wouldn't mind having Keletso Magalo back, And I know some people in the comments are going to probably say Oshwin Apolis, but hey, dealing with the owner of that club, man. Let's get into our game against DVB. I almost said Sekhukhune, man. What do you expect from this game, Ups?
I think if every game is not an easy game in this tournament, man. And for us, I think winning our first game, I think it will give us the confidence going to this game against a huge team. I think for us, not winning, if we fail to win the first game, I think it was going to have a huge impact on how we approach this game, because of you obviously you want to be cautious when you approach this game because of you failed to win your first game. But winning the first game, I think it will give us a confidence going to this game, and it will make us believe that we can come out of this game out of with something, because of we managed to get maximum points in our first game. But it won't be an easy game. And for Dortmund, man, the like Fluminense dominated them in position. Dortmund had a good position, but when you look at the chances that were created, the corners, I think Fluminense were good, man. You look at the shots, Fluminense had 14, Dortmund had 7, and even the shot on target, Fluminense dominated in terms of the shot on target. So I think Lorena in this game, yes, we may not dominate the ball position like how we do against other teams, but getting good numbers in terms of the shots, the corners, I think it will give us an edge to get something out of this game. And Dortmund, they are playing with a three at the back. They're playing 3-4-2-1. At the back, they have Baine, Anton, and Sul. And sometimes, if the opponents are pressing with a single forward, it makes the build-up, yeah, Dortmund to be much easier to progress with the ball, because of they can easily share the ball and move with the ball forward. But if you press with good numbers of forwards, obviously it will be difficult for them to get behind the forwards and progress with the ball. So it will be very key for us to press with good numbers in terms of the forwards. And also we should also press to win the ball, and press for them to make those back passes, because of if we allow them to bypass our press, that means that they will be able to move with the ball forward. And also because of the position that the system that they play, it gives them more situations coming from wide spaces, because of they have wing backs who overlap and who deliver those crosses. So Lorona, the full back starwood, they need to be a match tight, and they need to ensure that they stop crosses that come from the wing backs, which is it Sevson and Racing. So we need to ensure that we stop those crosses, and we compete on wide channels as well. And one thing I've noticed about Dortmund is that Fluminense had a good shot outside the box, man, and Dortmund failed to press and to block those shots coming from Fluminense. And Logan, I think it will be an advantage for us. We have a good players who can strike the ball outside the box, the likes of Tebza and Ribeiro. So we need to ensure that we use those chances. Yes, we may not have much box entries against Dortmund, but we need to ensure that once we approach the box, we know what to do in terms of the right passes, and also taking the shots at the right time. And Fluminense had good situations coming from a transition, man. I think Lorona, as much as we are not a team that relies on counter attacks and playing on transition, but maybe this game might require us to play differently. And I think if Dortmund push a lot of numbers forward because of their desperate for a win, I think some of our good chances might come from uh, uh, playing on transition. And for us, I think we might get something because we have Reiners who can
Yeah.
run and who can stretch the defense of the opponent and who can make ensure that he drags the opponent out of the position. And because of you look at the three center backs down Dortmund, they are very tall and they are a little bit slower in terms of trying to close down and chasing of the center forward. So I think Reiners needs to ensure that he works, man. When we have the ball, Reiners should give our players the options, man, because of it will be it will limit us when we have the ball on the middle field and Renas doesn't give us options for our midfielders to pass the ball to him. And Dortmund, they failed to deal with the speed and the directness of is it Arias, the number 21 of
Number
Fluminense.
21.
There, he was very direct and he was good and he took on defenders and he created some opportunities for Fluminense. And unfortunately, they couldn't score. And in this game, that game they played against Fluminense, I felt like Kobel, their goalkeeper, I think he saved them, man. He was good. The amount of saves that he made, Fluminense should have won that game because of the chances that they've created and the saves that Kobel managed to pull out for this team. I think he played a huge role because of honestly, Dortmund deserved 0 point, man. Like they deserved a 0 point. And lastly, there are two attackers, which is Bryant and Adiem. I think they did not supply their center forward with good balls, man. I think is it Gurasi?
Guarassi.
Yes, he was not much involved in this game because of there was no supply coming from these two, which is Brent and Adiem. So I think for Rona as Sundowns, yes, we won, but this is a different game. And we are playing against one of the big teams that Europe. And in defense, we have to be solid, man. Like yes, against some teams, we were able to get away with building up from the back because of it depends on how high they press when we progress with the
Build up.
ball and yeah we build up from the back at the ball. So I think Dortmund will want to high press us and see what they can get out of that. So I think from the defense and the goalkeeper, we need to be vigilant, man. Once we can sense some danger coming from Dortmund, we should be able to clear the ball. And something I noticed against is it the first game that we played, man? There was a situation where Grant failed to make a proper clearance, man. It was a cross that was played, and his clearance was so poor, man. And it reminded me of the clearance that he made against Pyramids, whereby it fell in front of which is that guy.
Mayele.
Uh, yeah, yes, yes. And they managed to score from that situation. So at the back, once we clear the ball, we should give it distance and height. And also try to ensure once we clear the ball, our forwards are able to chase for that ball. And in our first game, I was impressed with how Tebo was able to join the defense when we build up from the back. And Cupido and Grant will push to the side and also giving space for Lunga and Mudau to push a little bit forward and give us an advantage in terms of progressing with the ball and having a decent number of players in on the midfield and also on the wide channels. And in this game, I want us to break the lines that like how we managed to break them in our first game. We made some forward passes, some positive passes, and that helped us to get behind the defense of our opponents in the first game. So that's what I want to see from us in this game. Yes, it will not be as easy as our first game, but we need to ensure that we don't drop the standard or the level. And I think Shika, man, played a key role in our first game, man. And he did some of the things that we don't get out of Shika, but like playing those diagonal balls, switching the ball from the right to the left, man. Because of we don't see much of that from Shikabara. Hadlala in forward position, but he was closer to the middle and we're able to see different timbers one and how he helped in terms of the the defensive duties, man. He was tracking back, he was winning balls, he was pushing forward with the ball. So
He had to do that for certain people who claim that he's too old and he slows the team down. People at the club, but yeah, he can. Yeah,
yeah, no, and I think Dortmund they will want to keep an eye on man Mark Ribeiro, man. Like from the first game, they saw that Ribeiro is a good player. Uh, Ribeiro can face our own goals, but he can turn and get past through the opponents with ease. So I think Dortmund they will try to mark him or keep an eye on him. So we should also relieve Ribeiro, not rely on him that much because of we still have some good players on the pitch. So I think that's what I would expect from this game, also.
absolutely great points, Abs. Proper analysis, man. Top analysis. My only gripe is that for a second I thought you were gonna talk longer than it has taken the both Soweto clubs to win the league championship. Eh? But
Uh, as you can't mention Soweto clubs when we're doing a club World Cup preview. Like, don't like.
my sincere apologies,
Yeah,
Masanda Wana, for bringing others who can't even get into the club inside. So apologies. Let me share my 2 cents worth, man. I think this being a must-win game for Dortmund puts them under a lot of pressure, and I've seen how defensively vulnerable they get when they need a win. When case in point is their second leg against Barcelona in the UEFA Champions League. There were moments where Barcelona caught them with a 2v3 and 2v2. So yeah, man, we might get such moments because it is a must win for them. They are one of the few teams who use a 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1, like you said in this tournament, the FIFA Club World Cup. Obviously, trying to get a numerical superiority through their wing backs bombing forward, Resen and Svensson in left and right, as well as the front three and the midfield double pivot of Pascal Gross, who used to play for Brighton, and Sabitzer, who was at Manchester United alone, I think a few years ago, pushing forward. They have a very dangerous front three. That front three of Brandt, Gurasi, as well as Karim Adeyemi is very dangerous. Adeyemi, he's been on the radar at Liverpool. I know Michael Edwards, he's no longer just the sporting director at Liverpool. He rated him highly. So those guys are very, very, very good. And Adeyemi is mad fast. I think at some stage he was he probably is the fastest player in the Bundesliga. The other thing that I picked up in regards with how when this team builds up and tries to progress the ball through their sets is that at times, actually a lot of times when they build up, Gurasi comes into the central space to the center line. And I'll put up the heat map of their game against Fluminense as well as the Bundesliga season. The heat map has him dropping so deep so many times. And the reason he does this is that they try and get the two guys, Brandt and Adeyemi, running behind him, either for the second ball, if he flicks them on, or for the third man run. If he receives, plays it back, and then they play it behind the defense. And with that pace here, Adeyemi, we need to be really careful. We don't lose track of him. The two white forwards, Adeyemi as well as Brandt, they don't play as wide forwards per se. They play in the half spaces quite a lot, and then they leave the wide spaces for Ryerson on the right, and then Svensson on the left. The two wing backs. Perhaps we must not give Guirassy an inch. That guy doesn't need time in the box. You give him an inch, he's gonna hurt you. So we can't afford to give him. We can't give him an inch. We must always engage him at all times. And we need to think of a plan of what do we do when he drops. Does Cupido or Grant follow him, or does Tebza take care of him? But someone needs to take care of him in whatever he does. Once they lost possession in that game against Fluminense, their transition was brilliant, playing the ball as quickly as possible forward, more so to this boy Arias on the right, And I'm thinking maybe we might have to have Ribeiro cheating in this game and not going back to help Mudau defend. Maybe rely on one of the midfielders, because I outplayed 3 midfielders in the game, in this game. Maybe covering that side, and then Ribeiro, when we receive the ball, we play to Ribeiro, So, yeah, that's what I think we need to do. But our transition in this game needs to be on point because of the spaces, the wide spaces that we will get in when their fullbacks have overlapped. There's a gaping hole between Pascal Gross as well as Sabitzer. Pascal plays on the left, and he tends to play towards the half space, going to the wide space, So there's always a gaping gap between that double pivot. I think Tebza can absolutely break the lines, and if he breaks them, we can have Ribeiro coming into that space, like the zone 14, that number 10 position, and trying to destroy them from there, Lastly, our players need to get stuck into the tackles, go hard. The one thing that I picked up from a lot of these European teams, especially Dortmund, because I watched their game properly, they didn't want to engage and get stuck into tackles. They don't want to get injured in this tournament. So our players, we need physicality in this match, man. Your lineup?
For the first time, it was so difficult to make a lineup. So can you please go first as well? Like it was so difficult to come up with a proper lineup because of I don't know who to play in this game, man.
Cowards, bottle jobs. I'll play Williams, obviously. Mudau at right back. Cupido impressed me, right center back. I'm caught in between Mvala and Grant, because Mvala physicality I would be perfect for Guirassy in this game, like I know so but I think he will go for a Grant, and then Divine for me starts at left back, and then Mokoena at 6. I'll go with the midfield of Mokoena, Adams, and Allende as my 2-8s, and then Ribeiro, Zwane, and Reynas. Obviously, Zwane, you can't have him as a wide forward per se, but in that half space, he can do the job.
I'll go with the same lineup as yours.
Score prediction.
1-1.
1-1. I think it is a draw as well, but 2-2. So, yeah, man, which one will be a result for us? Thank you guys for watching. This has been a long preview, almost 40 minutes. The next preview will be on Monday, bringing you the preview of our third game of the group stages against Brazilian side Fluminense. Hopefully not the last preview of this tournament. Please subscribe and spread the word, and good luck to the boys. Until next time, Sharp Masandawana, Sharp Raps.
Sharp Masandawana.